to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
I got a couple sold. I got a pro account started with somebody, so that was nice. Man. I don't know. I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted?
I'm unbelievably exhausted, Jake. Like I had to wake up early this morning for work.
Yeah.
Because I had to make a delivery before 8 o'clock, and I usually get in at 8 o'clock. So my ass was up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And wait. So before we get into our fun actual hockey stuff, what do you do?
I make a lot of delivery stuff for my dad.
Like what's
business? So
it's a what business?
Printing business.
Oh, it's printing. Okay.
Yeah.
I never knew what you actually did.
Yeah. We do a lot of stuff for like the Cleveland schools and whatnot.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, we had a couple of wins, but we're going to talk about a particular game later that we're just going to rant about and have some fun with. But first, a little bit of positivity with Kepi Keepers by DraftKings. Fifth liners in Ohio, other hockey fans around here. I know, there's Cyclones, there's the Walleye, there's a lot of minor hockey in here. But sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook because come the new year, you can start betting on things. And if you put $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win, you get $150 in free bets if you do.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing, now I will say, yes, please, Ohio, sign up and use our promo code. It helps us out tremendously. It helps us out on the show. It helps us out on the network. It's a huge boost for us. And a huge boost for y'all. You can bet with the same game parlay and combine things using DraftKings, which is probably the most fun way to bet things, right? I've never been a sports betting guy.
Yeah.
I've never really done sports betting before, so like you are pretty much more the expert on this.
Yeah, it's more fun to do it because you stack a couple of things. Like anybody could put it like a $10 bet on a single game, but what's more fun is when you put just $5 on something with like 5 or more legs to it, and if these things happen, I just make a shitload of money, right?
Well, it's easy money to make if it's a Johnny Gaudreau point.
Yep, or a Mitch Marner point.
At this rate. Unfortunately, the Jason Robertson point had to come to an end.
Yeah,
but that dude is still a monster.
Yeah, Matt Murray has put a couple of different streaks to an end this season. So maybe
I'm happy for Murray.
Maybe if there's a streak going on and a team's playing Toronto and Murray's in net, maybe you bet on him,
Maybe you bet on some Matt Murray. Yeah. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code THPN and bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game. Get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code THPN. Like I said, it helps us out a lot. And all our description stuff, as always, down below. I'm going to bat first. And I got a question for you to start.
Yeah, you're going to take the player that I was going to pick because of how hilarious it was.
Will you take this rose?
Yeah.
The Bachelor fan.
I am. I really do love The Bachelor.
He's
going to get mine too.
But are we both going rosy for this then? Okay.
Can we just acknowledge how fucking hilarious it is? I'm about ready to trade this guy. Let's just trade him.
The Buffalo game happens.
Yeah.
The Buffalo game happens, and you're like, where is he?
I've been saying that not just the Buffalo game, but all the games prior to that. But the Buffalo game was like the final straw in the camel's back.
Right. And you texted me, you're like, okay, we need to, if a firing's not happening, we need to trade him now.
Yes.
Like he's the odd man out.
Yes.
And he goes out and he scores 2 goals and he gets a couple of helpers
He had a
to
goal
immediately wipe that out.
Yeah, he was effective the 2 previous games prior to that as well. He had an assist on Line's goal against the Flames to open the scoring.
He had a point or two, right?
They had 1 point in that game, yeah. And so he has 5 points in his last 2 games.
Could have gone to
Since I
Patty.
tweeted that.
Since you tweeted that, like, dude, it's the J curse. Like we talk about
if it's like fine, I'll tweet it every game if this is
if it's gonna
Seriously.
keep it going.
Yeah. And like we've acknowledged on several occasions, he's an inconsistent player. He scores in bunches. I get it. But
and it's fun to watch him score in bunches.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's because if he scores once, you can guarantee another one.
Here's the thing, and I've compared him to Cam in the sense that he's inconsistent. But the one thing that I have said that I don't think is unfair is at least when Cam wasn't scoring, he was effective in other areas. He wasn't a liability.
Yes.
This guy is a liability when he's not scoring. And that's more than anything what my frustration is.
Well, obviously, yes. Kepi Keeper, we got to give Jack his kudos because especially against Kings, oh my God. He had himself a night.
One of the best performances from an individual player this season on the Blue Jackets.
That was probably his best game since he had a hat trick and an assist against Detroit.
Yeah.
Was that last year?
I'd say so. Yeah.
So, yeah, Rosie's getting both Keppies. And here we go. So, Calgary was fun. Yay.
Yeah. Line scored.
It was unfortunate that neither Johnny nor Goody got anything.
It's unfortunate that Johnny didn't get anything.
I mean, I think my whole thing would have been funny is like Goody to somebody to Johnny to net, right?
My thing
like that would have been
funny
hilarious.
was Johnny not scoring anything, but Erica Branson getting a couple of points. That's what I wish would have happened. I thought that would have been really funny.
With just Eric going off for a little bit?
Eric goes off against them. The Flames fans are like, "What the hell?" Like,
this is the guy.
Yeah.
So that one was fun. It was good to get a win there. Kings, good to get a win there. And again, Rosie just having himself a night. Johnny had a night. Patty had a night.
Yeah, and they looked fun offensively, but again, it's
the Carnivals are fun to a point, but
like, we're here to talk about a couple of wins, and then we're gonna get into the Buffalo game. But like, it doesn't even feel like it's a couple of wins, Jake.
No, not
feels
really.
Like a legitimate win. The Calgary that game was a good win. You put it down. You find a way to strike first offensively.
Yes.
You hold them scoreless for 56, 57 minutes. And hell yeah, both your goalies play in the game.
Oh yeah, right.
Because Jonas started, he looked good, and then Elvis had to come in, and every fan in the building is like, "Oh God!" But he holds it down.
Well, the good news there is at least Corpy's only out for like what, a week?
Yeah, they said about 1 to 2 weeks.
1 to 2, okay, so that's not too bad.
Right.
Tara gets the call up. I think Jet got 1 too.
Yeah. So here's the situation. Okay. So you win that game. That's a good win. That's a really good win, objectively. Yes. Like, I liked what I saw there, but you call up Jet because you're saying to yourself, there's no sense in bringing up Tarasov if Corpy's only going to be out a week or 2. Let's bring up Jet. We'll give Elvis all the starts, and Jet will be there in case he gets hurt. Okay.
Right.
Because we don't want to disrupt Tarasov and his development. We want him to get some starts at Cleveland. We want to get him some consistent time. And don't get me wrong, you beat the Kings.
Yes.
But again, this is 31 and 32 in the National Hockey League in goaltending going against each other. And you got 11 goals on the board.
Yeah. I mean, that was the funny thing, because wasn't there a JFresh thing about the expected goals?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be really high, and it was, but like all of our tweets were like, "Oh, watch this be like a 1-0 shootout win or a 2-1 overtime or something like that."
Yeah, and that game just went exactly how we expected it to, legitimately, not jokingly. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it went the way that it should have. But again, this is the frustration about this hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
You give up. You have to score 6 goals to win a damn game. Did you play that well against the Kings? I don't know. You scored 6 goals on 26 shots. It's nice when you can do that. That's not sustainable. How do I
No.
know that? Look at the entire season. You've got 10 wins.
Look at a vast, how do I say this? Look at a vast majority. And I know, because this isn't an excuse anymore. Because, half of the defense is out. It's not an excuse anymore. They've all been out for a sustainable amount of time.
Yeah.
And the system, the new defensive system, still isn't really working.
I struggle with it. Is it not working? Or does your goaltending just suck? I don't know. Because I'm looking at Elvis in that Kings game, Jake, and he's off on every angle. He's committing far too soon to shots. He's taking himself out of position. And they won the game. But it was such a bad performance from Elvis. They said, oh, God, no, we have to send Jet back to Cleveland and bring up Tarasov.
Because he's
just
been
so we
the
have
most
a chance
competent
in these games. Yes.
out of everybody.
Legitimately. Who has objectively been the best Blue Jackets goalie this season?
Tara.
It has, yes.
Like, it's...
That is both.
Say, as a regular goalie,
yeah,
it's been Corpy to a degree. But Corpy still has a 353. Because you have Tarasov as a guy that needs to develop in the minors, and the fact that he had the situation that he was thrown into, having to start the first month of the year, and all of that, the fact that he is a 317 in his goals against average, for this team.
This guy's played in 6 games so far for the Blue Jackets. Tarasov.
Mm-hmm.
He has a 912 on this team. And I know that that's a small sample size, but you couple it with the other really small sample size last year. He's played in 9 NHL games.
Mm-hmm.
He only has 2 wins. He's got a 921. At what point do you almost just say, like, if we want to give him the time, let's just give it to him here?
I don't know, because our whole thing for skaters has been make sure they get their development time, right?
Yes.
Maybe overcook them just a little bit.
Because it's important, and especially with goaltending, young goaltenders are so difficult to develop.
Carter Hart.
And yeah, it's a good example. But this is where, like, my frustration comes in.
Are we going to Buffalo now? Can we go to Buffalo now?
Yeah, we can go to Buffalo because this ties into it.
I have one word.
9.
9.
Yeah.
9 goals. Guys, what happened? Question. You've said that you would lengthen the leash. Has it snapped? It snapped?
It snapped. For me.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, like, you're so injured and the season's so far gone that even though it has snapped, I'm not terribly upset that they haven't fired him. I was upset that night. Like, I'm not gonna act like I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, in the heat of the moment, of course I was upset. And then I woke up the next day, I was still very upset.
Yes, I remember your tweet.
We've won 2 straight games. I don't care. I don't give a shit that they have won 2 straight.
No,
because they could win tonight, Jake. They could win tonight and have 11 wins in the season. I still don't care.
Wednesday burns that deep.
It does. It is. And I told my one Bruins buddy this. My one roommate, Bryant. We were together in 2019 watching that series together.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that loss to Buffalo, regular season loss, is the most hurt I've been by the Blue Jackets since they lost. I would say game 5 against the Bruins, because obviously they lose game 6 and that's the end of the series. But game 5 was the one that cut deep.
That was the crusher, yeah.
They were down 3-1. They weren't playing well, but they score a couple goals. They're gaining momentum. It's tied 3-3. They might get this thing to overtime. They might win this game. Panarin's got a chance late, but they go the other way, and Pastrnak scores, and that was it, right? That Buffalo game, oh my God. Do you know what the worst part about it is for me?
What is it?
It's having gone to school in Buffalo.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When that game was going on, I was like, man, how does this guy feel as like an alum from around the area?
Do you want to know how it feels? Let me tell you. There is nothing more humiliating and frustrating. And I said this earlier about the Devils game.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing that a game topped the Devils game, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. Okay, first of all, to give some cookies, even though they're probably not deserved, Patty and Gus had the goals.
Yes, I know what you're saying. We're not giving cookie. We're just stating they shot the puck.
They showed up
that twice
somehow
for the team.
Yeah, they showed up to the point where they were like, do we really have to do this? Right? At least somebody showed up, kind of. And those two did. I
am not saying they showed up. I am saying they both shot the puck into the net twice each. That is how I will define that. I can't so the Devils game and the Sabres game.
Yeah.
It is the most humiliating thing ever. Sitting there in New Jersey with my girlfriend next to me wearing all of her Devil stuff.
Oh my God. The fact that you had to wear the Devil stuff so she could wear the Johnny jersey.
No, that
was cute.
No, she wore the Johnny jersey to the Tampa game.
Oh, that was to Tampa. Okay.
This was the one that was in New Jersey. I was wearing my I was wearing my Gaudreau jersey, and this is every fan in that building's booing Johnny. They're saying all that stuff and whatnot.
Meanwhile,
and the team's getting
a Gaudreau jersey.
The team's getting killed, and the most humiliating feeling ever is having your girlfriend sit there next to you, just feeling like,
and be like, oh,
I feel bad.
Right.
I'm just like, please don't say that. That's the worst feeling on the planet. There's nothing worse than when you're with someone who's rooting against your team and they just get to a point where they're like, I feel bad for you. It's like, please don't. I'm going to cry right now.
Oh, I know. Cause it's like, don't give me your sympathies.
Yeah. Don't give me your sympathy, for the love of God. Don't. And we're down 6-0 after one freaking period. And my phone is blowing up with texts from people who live in Buffalo, who are Sabres fans, who are like, what the hell is this?
6-0 after one.
Tage Thompson.
Big kudos to Tage. We'll say that. Huge kudos to Tage, because that was actually, from a neutral standpoint, that was awesome. Right?
No. No.
From a neutral standpoint, that was pretty damn
I don't want to be neutral.
I know you don't. And I'm not really tried to be that guy before either.
You know how I feel about Tage.
Yeah, I love the guy. He's great.
I was one of the few people, I'm going to pat myself on the back here, who liked that contract. A lot of people had doubts about that contract because he had only done it one season, but I got to see the majority of that season, and I said, this guy's legit.
You gave him kudos last episode.
Yeah.
For his finishing.
And
his finishing
here he is.
Was prime example on Wednesday. Oh, my God.
I got to give the Blue Jackets a lot of credit here. I can't remember the last time I went into a Survivor episode this late in the season where I was mad going into it.
This late?
But I was on Wednesday.
Oh, this late in the Survivor season. Okay.
Yes.
I thought you meant this late in the hockey season.
Survivor. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. We're at the final 6, and I'm just sitting there seething.
Like, I don't care. I don't care what happens.
I know. It was a good episode too, and I was just sitting there mad the whole time.
Meanwhile, I was like, dude, I was working the whole shift, and I didn't pull my phone out
No, you
because
pulled out your phone once, and you were like, "What the fuck?"
I know I pulled out my phone once just to reply to you one time, and I was like during the shift, and I was like, cool. And then the game ends, and I'm looking, and then I texted you after I was going home, and I was like, what happened? Like,
I think the worst part of all of it, out of every single
oh,
detail that we have talked about, the worst part
mm-hmm.
is that it was a nationally televised game. I
Yeah,
don't
because
ever want to
wasn't that
hear
on TNT?
anybody. Yes, I don't ever want to hear a Blue Jackets fan ever complain again that this team doesn't get national TV games. I'm never going to complain about that again.
No,
Why on earth would you ever schedule this team to play national televised games?
I wasn't. I'm trying to think because tonight against Florida, as we're
Is
recording
like
this on Tuesday night,
that's an ESPN game that you can stream.
that's an ESPN Plus game. Yes.
Yes.
And we're down 1-0 after one as we speak.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know how to fix this. I know it's a lost season at this point. This is such a salt in the wound kind of game.
I was, you know how I am. I was already negative on this season for good reason.
We have our positives, which are small, but they're there.
Yeah. We do. I'm not gonna, pretend like we don't have any positives.
Johnny,
I'm just getting tired of trying
KJ,
to
I know.
to just dig. I want to be able to just look at a team and be like, good. This is what we do well.
Great work, guys. Yeah, great game. And
Yes.
I mean, like the last time, the last time that happened for me was Florida. Was the last time we played Florida.
Yeah. Tearsoff. And even then, like,
even then it was Tara. It was like, what?
it was, yeah, that's like, even then it was like, you gave up 50 shots. You gave up 50 shots in the game.
Yeah.
That can't be your masterpiece.
How many?
Not a chance that can be your masterpiece of the season.
No. The masterpiece, like, up to this point was New York, and that was what, game 5?
Yes. With Tara in net.
Tage is a monster.
He is.
Tage is wild.
He's unbelievable. He is a top 20 player in this league.
Rasmus Dahlin doing Dahlin things.
Yeah, he's outstanding.
Owen Power doing powerful things.
Oh my god, Owen Power is fantastic. Jack Quinn. But like Jake, like I don't want to like talk down on the Sabres. I love what they're doing. I love how their rebuild has gone. Their 9th rebuild.
You said this. You went to school in Buffalo. Of course, you're gonna have enough kudos for this team.
Yeah, and I like what they've done because I've been able to see it. And they're still, a year or two away.
Yeah.
But I like what they've done. Okay.
Mhm.
And they've got some good pieces. And this is a team that can score some goals, right?
Yes, of course they can.
Jake,
and
they're below 500.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
yeah.
You didn't do this to Colorado. This didn't happen against Pittsburgh. This didn't happen against Toronto. This didn't happen against one of the top 5 offenses in hockey. This happened to a below 500 hockey team.
Right.
It's like, oh my God. They are really, really bad.
And the problem is...
You didn't even do this to the damn Devils.
No, exactly.
Devils only scored 7 on you.
I don't know. This is a podcast. We're supposed to discuss things. We're supposed to talk about.
Oh, we discussing things. There are going to be some conversations here that some people may not want to have and might be uncomfortable for some people. And one of them is going to be about Jarmo Kekalainen.
Well, first of all, who the fuck? And yes, I'm going to get blunt and I'm going to try to rile up here.
Yeah.
Who the fuck replaces Larson now? Right now.
Well,
no, Jay, right this fucking second. Who do you hire?
It would be Pascal Vincent. It would be an interim.
Okay. All right.
Like here's the thing, like I've said on numerous occasions, it snapped.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But I don't know what you gain by firing him. You're not competing for a playoff spot. You're in the midst of contending for Bedard.
Sure.
And here's the only little bit that I'm going to give Brad Larson.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the injuries. It's name a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Irregardless of roster.
Yeah.
Who can win with this goaltending? Right now. And they made moves in this offseason that should be acknowledged. But you know who had by far the worst goaltending in the league last year? These guys.
And they still had Lindy Ruff.
And they didn't replace Lindy Ruff. What is the New Jersey Devils record right now? 21-5-2. I understand that Vitek Vanacek wasn't the only move they made this offseason. They went out and they improved their coaching staff by getting Brunette. They went out, they got John Marino. That helps your defense.
Yes.
They got Andre Palat. Fabian Zetterlund steps up. He's in your lineup consistently. He's really, they did a lot of things. And he's sure the guy on the back of the shirt. Stepping up. Jack Hughes is great.
Jack Hughes is a freaking superstar. Yeah.
We've talked about all that. But this is it. You go from worst in the league to borderline top 10 in goaltending. And the Devils right now, arguably the best team in hockey. They're top 3 in hockey.
And the funny thing is, because we follow the Devils as closely as we do still, it's like I was looking at updates today from Neil and from Twitter and what have you. And Blackwood's going for, I think he's going for a conditioning thing.
Conditioning.
Yep. And I think Schmid is starting tonight.
I believe so.
So it's Schmid with Vanacek backing him up.
Mm-hmm.
And both Schmid and Dawes have looked fine for what it's worth.
Schmid has looked awesome. So Schmid is 5-5 right now in this game. Schmid is 5-1 on the year with a .940 save percentage and a 170 goals against average with the Devils this year.
That's amazing, because think about what happened to him last year.
Yeah, last year, he had a 483 goals against average and 833 save percentage in 4 games. Now, granted, the Devils were terrible defensively, and he was a young kid, only 22 years old. He was a former 5th-round pick. Like he was brought up far too soon. Okay, but it's just this is what I'm like. We're talking about Lindy Ruff as a potential Jack Adams winning coach
after
in 2023.
After a weekend, we were like, when are they going to fire him?
Yes. and this is where I tie this into Brad Larson. I'm not saying that Brad Larson is on the same level as Lindy Ruff. No. But Lindy Ruff has been a coach in this league for 30 years. Has won Jack Adams
25-ish. 25-ish.
Is a coaching legend with the Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
Has made the playoffs many times. Has made a cup final.
Could
potentially win a Jack Adams again this year.
It's very sad that you mentioned a 483 from Akira Schmid, because that's what Elvis sits at currently.
Yeah. So, right there. Schmid was 0-4.
Mm-hmm.
Lindy Ruff and the New Jersey Devils were picking second overall
Yeah.
just a couple of months ago because they couldn't win freaking games. And now they're one of the best teams in hockey. Name a coach who can win with this goaltending. And that's my one. I don't know if I want to call it an excuse. It's just a point for Larson. But on the flip side of it, at what point do you watch him play, Elvis, and say there is a major disconnect? And we need to do something. We need fire Randy Legacy.
Well, we've talked about this. And I don't know how much of this is like a confirmed thing from any sources, but the PTSD aspects of a couple of summers ago, are allegedly still out there with the cannon and the rafters and and all of that.
But there's a couple of different ways to look at this, okay? First of all, we don't know. It's alleged. We don't know. You know, if he's not coming out and saying that that's an issue anymore, we don't know if that's an issue.
Right.
So that can't really be used as an excuse. If it's still affecting him, then something needs to change with that.
Yeah. Is
it retiring the cannon for this guy? Is it making a move with this guy? Is it? I don't know. I don't know either. But a conversation needs to be had if that's an issue. But the other thing, Jake, and this is just brutal honesty here, the cannon doesn't travel with you on the road.
No, exactly. And
so
numbers on the road
an excuse for your road numbers. Like, if he needs to be traded, and I've said this before, and I stand by it. If he needs to change the scenery, give it to him now. You got to figure it out. And this is where I'm concerned about the team, is because Jarmo has never figured this out before.
It's a 95% physical position, and you texted me this just the other day, that the vast majority of the goaltenders in recent memory were inherited. Yes.
Yeah. And I think, and we don't need to go all the way out of this. I think this is a conversation we can have at a later point too, but this is what I said to you, okay? 2013, he gets, the Blue Jackets bring in Jarmo and JD.
Yep.
At that point, they had already traded for Bobrovsky. They still had Steve Mason. They had already drafted Korpisalo.
Yep.
They already drafted Oscar Dansk. They already drafted Anton Forsberg.
Oh, poor Dansk.
So, you didn't make that move. You were not the one who brought in Bobrovsky.
Those were already done.
Inherited him. And then within 1 year, you saw Bobrovsky's your guy. They traded away Steve Mason, who was struggling for years, and they didn't care. He went on and had success in Philadelphia. They lost the trade in terms of value. They didn't care because they already had another guy. They had Sergei Bobrovsky. He extended him. Okay.
Yes.
And then his second draft, he goes out and he drafts Elvis Merzlikins in the 4th round. Right. He has been here 9 years, Jarmo. He has been a part of 9 drafts.
Yes.
And he has drafted 5 goalies. 3 of them rounds 5 or later. One of them in 2016. Do you remember who it is?
No.
It's Peter Tomey.
Who? Yeah.
Peter Tomey was a goalie who played for the University of North Dakota. He was a backup to Adam Scheel. He then played for the St. Thomas Tommies. He, to my knowledge, has never played higher than the East Coast League.
Okay. That's probably why. Yeah.
2018. Veini Vivlainen made 3 saves as a Blue Jacket.
Yeah, Veini.
That was it.
Veini is a tough case.
Well, he was a 6th-round pick. Okay. So is it the end of the world that your 2 6th-round pick goalies didn't work out? No.
No.
But
I will say, like, in Veini's case, on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember after he got traded, he was like, "Oh, they're not going to play me anyway. Okay, I'm just going to fuck off then and fuck you."
Yeah,
Like he said, yeah, he just said "fuck you" to Toronto.
he's an
and
overseas goalie, and that's that. He's not a North America goalie. Okay,
and I mean that's fine.
it is fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. This last year, you drafted Sergei Ivanov in the 5th round. Okay, but this is my frustration.
Yeah.
This is my frustration here, Jake. The 2 guys of note that you've drafted are Elvis and Tarasov. Well, you better hope to God that Tarasov is as good as he has looked
Yeah.
in this league, because the first goalie you selected right now has regressed every year he has played in this league.
Yeah.
And
he probably shouldn't have even, like, the way that he even started in this league.
Yeah.
With Corpy's initial New Year's injury.
Yeah.
Was probably a shock to his development, like a shock to his system.
Yeah. It's a lot of questions here.
He's gone through such unexpected turns.
Yeah.
Just as a goaltender in his career. Because the way he started, he had to come in during an injury and he plays fine. Right?
He was really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Because he started off with this team and he sucked. And then he was really good. And his contract ends because he was on the 1-year entry. They give him the 2-year bridge.
Yep.
And even though the team stinks, he plays very well behind a bad defense. He has a 916. And Yarmo says, I am going to jump on this right now, and I'm going to give him a 5-year extension.
Yep.
And I'm going to pay him $5.4 million because I want to get him paid before, if he has another good season, he's asking for north of 6.
Right.
I'm not going to kill Yarmo for that. I'm not. That is common practice for GMs.
Mm-hmm.
He whiffed, and he has to fix it. It sucks, but this is the reality you live in now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be hard to win it's going to be hard to win an Elvis Merzlikins trade.
Yes.
Similar to you lost the Steve Mason trade, but you didn't care because you have Sergei Bobrovsky. Well, Sergei Bobrovsky's not walking through that door.
And yeah, we don't have a Bob anymore.
No.
Like,
and this is where I get terrified.
No.
Because if this guy isn't the deal, what's next?
We have no goalies. I mean,
what are you waiting 3 or 4 years to see what you have in Sergei Ivanov?
Is your interim option like it's not Jet Greaves?
No.
It's not Pavel Kazan.
No. So this is where it's terrifying, because you better hope this guy works out.
And the defense is already bad enough. We don't need to rehash any of those points anymore.
Yeah. So it's scary.
This is such a weird ride. This whole season. This whole season, from the upside in the off season, the optimism that we had, and we knew, like, the two of us tempered our expectations.
Yeah, we said, Jake, there's a difference between growing pains and just, constant arthritis. This season has been nothing but constant arthritis in every area imaginable watching this team.
It's such... It's weird, because still, we're fans. We look forward to watching games.
Yes.
We look forward to watching this team play.
For some reason, yeah.
For a few reasons. A few. And far between. But they're there. And Makachuk just makes it 2-0. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I think we're going to leave it at that. And we're gonna move on to other teams now.
We need, yeah, we're not going to do it today. We should have a dialogue about that on Saturday about Yarmo. I'm not saying. Here's what I'll leave us on. Okay.
Mm.
I'm not saying that we're going to fire him this year. He could stay this year,
But
he
he
could
is
stay next year.
He's on the clock now.
Yeah, and
He's hey he's on the clock. You like that? You like that one?
yeah, and whether we
There you go.
fire him in 2023 or 2024 or 2025
Well,
or
'cause
even
what-
2026, Jake.
What's even his contract? Do you know? Like
No,
a GM
I
contract
don't.
is weird.
I don't. But what I'm going to say here is, whether it's this year or next year
Mm-hmm.
or the year after that, if he gets fired,
Yeah.
it will be because of his inability to replace Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah. Like 98% yes. Everything else he's done as a general manager has been wildly awesome.
He's done, yeah. GMs miss picks sometimes.
Yeah.
He's whiffed on some players. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Largely, he does a good job drafting and trading. Not a lot of free agent signings have blown up in his face, and outside of Erica Branson already. But
Unfortunately,
this is it. If he's gone within the next 3 years, sure, he whiffed on Brad Larson, but it will be because of his inability to get you a goalie.
yes.
For a decade.
Man. Okay.
And same thing goes for John Davidson.
Yeah, just JD.
JD was
How
a
much
goalie
he
in the
was a
National
goalie?
Hockey League.
Yes. How
And
does he
hasn't
not
solved that problem either.
How does he not get any of the blame for this?
He should. He absolutely should.
And like he's okay. They are both of them as people are affable people.
Yeah.
Like the Yarmo for as intimidating
Brad
as he was.
Larson.
Brad Larson is probably one of the nicest guys on the planet.
Yes. A lot of
JD,
nice people in this organization.
JD's hilarious and amazing.
Yeah. Great personality. Yarmo is dry, but like in a
He's so
charming,
fun.
dry way.
Like, yeah, it's so good.
These are all great people. Nobody cares.
Do your job well,
Yeah.
guys. Like,
You know who's kind of an asshole? I would
You?
say what?
You.
I mean,
I love you, man.
Bruce Cassidy.
Bruce Cassidy is a bit of an asshole, yeah.
You think anybody gives a shit in Vegas right now?
No. He fits
God,
Vegas
no.
perfectly. Look at him.
Yeah.
He fits Vegas's asshole mentality already.
Yeah.
Like Vegas already has that kind of moniker to them, just even as a city.
Yeah.
Like think about Las Vegas as a city.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Yes. And they might win the cup this year.
Yeah. They're
They're
looking
unbelievable. We've heard some not so great stories about Jack Eichel.
We've heard some
You
not
think
great
anybody
stories.
cares in Vegas right now?
No. We've heard some not great stories about Bill Foley. I don't think anybody cares.
Winning heals all, doesn't it?
James Dolan.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nobody. Jeremy Jacobs.
Jeremy Jacobs. Yeah.
Don Sweeney.
We just went through the whole Mitchell Miller thing a few weeks ago, like a month ago.
Yes.
And God, was that something that just blew the fuck up in their face.
It was. But you know what it also did? It also blew away very quickly. And you want to know why?
Because hockey culture.
Winning heals all.
And winning, yes.
The Bruins are still really good. It didn't
Yes.
affect them. It blew over quickly. If that happens in Columbus right now, if Columbus had done that,
Mm-hmm.
does that blow over quickly?
No.
No.
That's the story of the season.
Yeah.
Like that just lingers through the whole season, like as this continues to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We'll leave it at that.
We got to move on. Fun, good story, rival team. Kris Letang.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Tanger. That did not take long.
dude. That was like a 13, 14-day recovery.
He played 27 minutes.
That was as quick as Laine's first injury. Like,
that was just. I want to repeat that. Kris Letang didn't just return. He played 27 and a half minutes.
20.
He almost played half the game.
God. And he looked great. He looked like himself.
Yeah.
He looked like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Just after recovering from a stroke, guys.
Yeah, he's fine.
Wow. Wow. It's stupid impressive.
That literally just defines what the Pittsburgh Penguins organization is.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, Brian Burke runs
Malkin
the things.
tears his ACL, has that really bad injury in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby's got all those concussions.
Yep.
Letang's had a couple strokes. They come back stronger than ever. Doesn't matter what these guys go through.
Man.
When they miss time, they come back and they're unbelievable.
It's crazy, man. It's wild. I mean, that's like resilience is the name of the game when you have guys like Brian Burke and Ron Hextall running your team.
It has to be.
Right? And like another quick, like just really quick shout out because you're wearing the Devil's garb. Very quick shout out to Jack Hughes.
Yes.
For that 6+ minute shift.
Yeah. So
how the hell did he do that?
So me and my girlfriend were at the Cavs game.
Uh-huh.
And that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was in town this weekend. So we're sitting there. And she shows that to me. She was like, "Oh my God, you played a 6-minute and 2-second shift." And I look at her and I'm like, I have two reactions to this. One is, good God, that is unbelievable. That is so impressive.
It's so wild.
It's also really fucking stupid.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's so dumb. Like how
bad coaching malpractice.
How tired and like dehydrated and sore must he have been like when he got back to the room?
Yeah.
Just like this poor kid.
Yeah. In a game that they lost.
Yeah. And it's super impressive.
It's super impressive, no doubt about it.
But very dumb.
I remember being like, Jesus, very dumb, very dumb.
And okay, so getting back to Letang just real quick before we move on to the next little tidbit, that's got to give him Masterton, like shoot him up to the top of the Masterton.
Yeah,
like, consideration, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't see why not. I mean, he's one of. It's just like you say that, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like they have so many guys to choose from.
Yeah.
Like you think about some of these guys in the Penguins who are just unbelievable people.
I mean, to come back when your timeline was 4 to 6 months, right? To come back in around 2 weeks.
Was that really his timeline?
I don't know.
I don't remember ever seeing a timeline.
Maybe it was yeah, I think it might have just been indefinite.
Yeah, I think it was just indefinite, and we were just like, we don't know. He might be done. And then he came back, and he was like, LOL.
He was like, I am Iron Man.
Fucking idiots.
He's Thanos. I'm inevitable, right?
It's like, I've done this before.
It's like, guys, I did this a decade ago. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to bring up, like related, because we haven't we've talked about him recently, but I want to, and we mentioned the fact that his coach called him out.
Yes.
But we need to talk about Jordan Binnington.
Yeah.
This guy. Oh my God.
This guy. This
friggin' guy. Is he not the new like villain in this league? Because I watched a video where he was getting called that or whatever. He's like, or is he just some punk still?
Here's the thing, Jake. Villains are usually good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That is my answer to that question.
Your chirp game is on another level tonight. Like, damn.
I mean, I'm just
and I'm sure
here. If you want to be a villain, you have to have you have to have something higher than an 894.
Yeah. Pulling this shit when like he was, stringing together so many wins on the way to the cup is one thing. Right?
All-time heist from Jordan Binnington. Let me tell you, it is that is like a run that saved the Blues and hurt them at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Because they finally won their cup, but they're now stuck with this guy forever.
Maybe he should have listened to Marty Brodeur.
Yeah,
maybe he shouldn't have told Martin Brodeur to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think there's anything wrong with athletes having an edge, but there's a difference between having an edge and being an asshole and being an idiot.
Yeah.
And those things can change over time. Like,
so the most recent incidents,
it's an edge when you're winning, you're an asshole when you're losing, right?
Yeah. And let's touch on let's touch on what he's actually done over the last couple of weeks. The more recent, because we've talked about the Kadri stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the stuff with the Sharks, right?
Yeah, big fan of swinging my stick and
punking out your goalie and punking out your bench.
Punching you. Look at me. I'm gonna punch you, man. I'm gonna give you the good old rowdy.
Good old razzle dazzle right there. And didn't he do it to Nas too?
Put him up.
But yeah, why I oughta.
Why I oughta. I'm gonna go back to the dressing room, but why I oughta.
Why I oughta, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah. He is the ultimate hold me back, bro.
He's hold me back, y'all.
Yeah. He's like the head coach that's like screaming at the ref who hires like an assistant like trainer who holds him back so he can scream and make it look like he's about to like beat the shit out of the ref when he's not gonna. Like,
what now?
Yeah. Oh, it's a good thing my boys are holding me back, or else I'd go in there and I'd give you a good old licking.
I really would.
No, that's yeah. Anyway, what was the question?
So, like, what actually happened over the last couple of times?
Yeah, so he like hip checked Jordan Staal,
who is like 50, 60 pounds heavier.
Dude's a giant
and 6 inches taller.
All I'm gonna say is Jordan got the better of that one. Your
smile, you're like your wide-eyed smile when you pull shit like that. That's just like, huh? Right?
Yeah,
I nailed it, right?
I'm like a kid who's still like, looking up at his parents like,
did I? Was that good?
Yeah. I did well.
Yeah, I nailed it, right? So the Jordan Staal thing happens, and I mean, he got a taste of his own medicine with that.
Yeah,
because not too long after Jordan scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or he was involved in a play. No, I'm thinking of the other thing. So the thing that happened later in the week, or like the week after or something, he clips, and I mean really clips, like basically clotheslines Jason Zucker
Right.
with his arm.
Yeah.
And Zuck goes down really hard.
Mm-hmm. Was that when Berube came out and was like, "I'm
Yes,
just gonna stop"?
that was that game. That was
Okay.
after that game. Berube said, "Hey, Jordan, do your job.
I was like, "For the love of God, just stop."
Just stop the puck. Like seriously, stay in your net and stop the puck. That's what we pay you to do. That's what I coach you to do,
Yeah.
right?" So he clotheslines Jason Zucker. He goes down. He's down for a bit. I think he was able to get off his own power, right?
Mm.
A few shifts later, Jason scores, which is just beautiful karma.
That sounds about right.
And then he's on the bench looking up at the scoreboard, like, huh, yeah, sure, all right. This is just Zuck. It's perfect. So yeah, Benner. He's such a weird mix of like stupid and like you think he's fine one game and then he's not the next. And
Yeah, shutout yesterday looked pretty good. The talent's there,
yeah,
but
it's like just focus on doing that.
When he's not an asshole, he's
But
not a bad goalie. Like, he's won a cup.
He's
He was
always
good.
It's weird because he's always better. He's always better when he's consistently ahead.
Yeah.
As soon as he's losing,
yes,
that's when the temper tantrums start.
Yeah.
And these
surprise,
these
it
are
makes
temper
things harder on the
tantrums.
Blues. Yeah, they're temper tantrums. It makes things harder on the Blues. It makes things harder on himself. He loses his focus, and then he starts to struggle. I get this, like, Berube made the comment, but that's not a comment trying to motivate your guy.
No,
and
not really.
This is a guy who is genuinely frustrated.
No,
he is sick of this guy.
Berube's fed up. I would be too.
Yeah, because my job, I'm trying to win hockey games here, and well, we kind of had this guy named Billy Huso who's really good for us, and we don't have him anymore.
Yeah.
So,
and now we have Thomas Greiss, so you are officially the guy.
Yeah, you could pull this shit last year when we could just put Huso in and he was better than you.
Yeah.
We don't have him. So, can you do what you're supposed to do?
Berube's fed up. I would be too. And the funny thing is, I was watching another like Dang It's or whatever, like talking about when this stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "What did Berube do in his career?"
Yeah.
He was one of those assholes. He was one of those skaters that went out there and roughed you up if he had to.
Yeah.
He was an agitator.
You let the players who are supposed to do that on your team do that.
Yeah.
It's not a tough concept. There's not too many goalies in the league who struggle with that concept. Benner's like the only one.
Jordan, you're not Ron Hextall. Yeah. If you're trying to be Ron Hextall, there's no way in hell. Because first of all, Hexy was good. Right?
Yeah, very good.
And second of all, he didn't let shit get to him, so he could, like, when he snapped, he was able to refocus and still be good. Right?
Yes. I want to look something up real quick as we end this topic. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I want to see if you can guess it. Okay. So let me just pull this up real quick.
Go for it. Waiting on you.
Since 2019-2020. So this is the year after they won the cup. Okay?
Yes.
Jordan Binnington has played in 151 games. What is his save percentage?
Since 1920, what's his save percentage?
Yes.
In how many games again?
151 games. He is 76, 52, and 20.
Okay.
What is his save percentage?
I want you to hot or cold me on this, okay? 904.
Very, very close.
Close? Hotter or colder?
I mean,
Like, just tell me. Go ahead.
906.
906? Okay. So that's not awful.
It's not like pathetic,
well, it's not. Well, considering league averages over the last couple of years too. Right? Because like right now it's like a 904. Last year, what was it? Like a 909, 908, something like that.
And yes, you're correct, but also goes into the whole concept of like, well, we're paying you $6 million a year.
Yeah,
we're not paying you for around league average goaltending. We're paying you to be good,
to be 910, 915 plus.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like instead of a goalie, he should be like, I don't know. He should pull like a Jake Paul route. Right? Just do YouTube boxing or whatever he wants.
So
clearly he feels like he's more interested in that.
What do you think Elvis's save percentage since 1920 is?
Since 1920? Well, taking this season's numbers into consideration,
which it does.
90. I'm gonna say 902 again.
908.
Wow. Oh, right. He was a 907 last year.
So, this is a guy who's struggling. Benner's got worse numbers than him over the past 4 years.
Right.
Really. So, I just find that to be quite interesting. When you look at the goalies who make that kind of money.
Right. Hey, we got a first NHL goal.
Who?
Miramanov in Vegas.
Nice.
Good for the kid. So yeah, Benner, do your job, dude. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's literally what it comes down to.
It's literally like your coach said, do your job. Just stop the puck. Seriously.
Yep.
That's all you got to do. So next thing, Gary Bettman came out with the sale of the Senators updates.
Yeah, and I love this. I think
and this is great. Really good. So there's like 12 groups, give or take, bidding for the Sens, and they're going into a bidding war. This is great because that means there's going to be more value for the team as that goes on.
Yep. Whoever buys them will almost certainly help progress the move to LeBreton Flats. Yes. I would assume.
Yes. Timothy Brody, look at that. And assist from Connor Timmins. There you go. Anyway, okay, sorry. So yes, the sale of the Sens is going well. And Gary has also come out to say that Ryan Reynolds has to be in on it.
Yeah, and this is fantastic.
Which is awesome.
This, they see a very, very serious minority stake buyer who is a very notable person who a lot of people really, really like, a great personality. And
He
this
knows the
is,
sport.
yeah, this is a way to help grow your game, and it's fun.
I mean,
Like
being from
this is
Vancouver,
positive.
he knows the sport.
This is positive for the Ottawa Senators and for the National Hockey League, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
From a value perspective, from a
Mhm.
PR perspective.
And you just think about like the NBA, like you know, the Nets. I mean, Jay-Z had a stake with them for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
Usher's got a stake in the Cavs.
Does he?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't
That's
know if he
actually
still does, but he had one for
I
a
didn't
while,
know
because I
that.
remember he got a
That's really
championship
cool.
ring in 2016.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So it's nice to kind of have those voices, right?
Well, when you
And
have, because for one thing, they're like, they know the sport, but they're also so far outside of the sphere of it to where it broadens people that see your product and see that team's product, right?
yeah.
Like people are gonna look up. Like I didn't know who Wrexham was until I was telling my mom about the fact that Reynolds was interested in the Senators, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he owns part of a soccer team too." And I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So that was, I don't know. It's just, it's fun to see celebrities do things like this, right? In
Yeah.
one way, it's because not only does it look cool,
Right.
like it looks cool as an investment for them.
Yeah. It looks cool, but like it's also just is cool, you know?
Yeah.
So Jay-Z sold his stake in the Nets back in 2013 because he formed Rock Nation Sports, which was a sports agency, so he wasn't allowed to have stake in a team.
Oh, okay.
But you know, still like really cool. Like people remember that. Like, you know, he has like some of those lines in his songs and whatnot.
About that, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's unique. You know, any chance you can get to have passionate celebrities involved with your team, it's a really cool thing, and it's exciting, particularly for a franchise like the Ottawa Senators that's been looking for good things to happen to them, and they're looking for good news, especially in this search.
Yeah.
This is good news for them.
This isn't Bieber like just being a casual fan and being a friend to Austin Matthews.
This isn't,
Right.
you know, Spike Lee with the Knicks.
This isn't Kodak Black in his suite in Florida.
No, it is not.
This isn't Camp and 21 Pilots coming to Columbus games
Right.
just to hang out, right? Which, don't get me wrong, that's awesome. When you get like people from around your area that are famous that like come to chill out and do things like that.
Right.
Because wasn't it was last year 21 Pilots like rented out nationwide for like a weekend to do a bunch of shows, and then they also came to a game.
I don't remember that. They might have. I mean, I believe it because they're from Columbus, but
yeah, exactly. And then Camp did the same thing. They had a show and then they came to the game like the next day. Because they're also a Columbus band.
Yeah.
It's really fun. But this is different because this is a major celebrity that knows the area,
Like,
is passionate about the team, that wants
major celebrity. Like
A list.
Love Ryan Reynolds, right?
A list. And everybody loves Ryan Reynolds. Yes.
Yes. One of the funniest people out there. Just when I think of like if you say actor sarcastic,
Yeah.
is he not the first person you think of?
I mean, yeah. Well, for one thing, he's Deadpool, and that's like the most obvious thing out there that ties into that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's funny because I also think of a lot of different SNL guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. This is something that, I don't know. It's making my brain cloudy Because just thinking about it, it's like, think of all the things that they could do even with just a minority stake in it, right?
Right.
Holding Deadpool nights,
Yeah,
holding
there's
like
events you can do. Whether that be for the team or autograph sessions or anything like that, like theme, like there's so much you can do with it that's
Yeah.
fun. You can do Deadpool themed food items or
yeah.
like merchandise in your team store. Like there's a lot that you can do with him.
It would be fun to see like some Free Guy stuff. Like I know Free Guy bombed, but that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. There's just a thing about Ryan Reynolds, Minority Sens owner,
Yeah.
that has this ring to it, right? Like, yeah. And the fact that Bettman came out and said, like, no, it doesn't matter which one of you guys wins this, he has to be in your ownership group.
Yeah.
Like confirming that he's gonna be involved in this. Right?
Yeah.
It's really fun. And I do, okay. So this is a bit of a different topic, and I want to give Bettman the slightest bit of congrats. Very slight. Because the man's been the commissioner of this league now for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
And he's, granted, there's been a lot of shady stuff under his watch. I mean, we lost a full season, we lost a half season, 2 half seasons if you count the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
No, you can't put that one on Gary.
Yeah.
But like, you lose, a season and a half due to a lockout.
Yep. You have a guy at the helm who doesn't believe in CTE. Has some very barbaric takes about concussions. Who's done a poor job of PR management with a lot of the hockey culture incidents.
Yes, the hockey culture is a huge issue with Gary Bettman and his.
But congrats on 30 years, I guess.
And yeah, I mean, he brings hockey to untraditional markets, which is fun.
When he brings them, I mean, he brings them. He has been jamming the Coyotes down our throats for the better part of a decade. So,
there's Vegas. There's the Panthers and the Lightning. There's the Hurricanes.
I don't know if Hurricanes really apply for with those kind of teams. To be honest with you,
I mean, the South,
yeah.
Right? Meh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'd say more probably Anaheim than.
Oh yeah, well, California, like, yeah, absolutely.
Just
California.
Because you already had a team in LA.
And San Jose before that, because they were 91. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 2 Florida teams were huge. Bringing the team back to Ottawa was huge. Vegas, oh my god. Who fucking knew hockey was going to work in Vegas? We didn't until it happened.
Yeah.
Bringing a team to Seattle, which already has passion just as a sports city and a cultural city.
Yeah, that one's working out well.
Right? And
I don't really.
What a difference between years 1 and 2 for the Kraken. Like, wow.
I don't think there's too many people doubting Seattle as a market.
No, it's not like that. I said they were going to doubt Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, as a market, because
hockey's working a hell of a lot more than we doubted Seattle.
Yeah.
And we've still yet to see how Vegas is going to do in the midst of a bad season. So we'll see how that happens.
Right, because last year was just a fall off a cliff.
Yeah, they missed the playoffs, but it wasn't like they had a bad start and they just never got it back. Like, no, it fell apart right at the end.
Yeah.
We've never seen them actually be bad. And I'm curious to see how that kind of works out. But Seattle works. Vegas works. He's done good things. I don't want to act like he's done nothing for the sport, but
And I will say
30
that
years
it's
congrats,
listen.
I guess.
Try the whole thing with Arizona. Let's just say this now. I know it's like shoving it down our throats, right?
Yeah.
But they're trying to make this work, and I feel like they're doing their best to.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
30-year freaking guarantee. The 30-year guarantee is wild. That's a big swing. But yeah, Bettman, 30 years as commissioner. That's just wild to me, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how long's Goodell been commish? In
2011?
football? 2011. Okay, so that's
earlier. Roger Goodell. Let me see.
Actually, yeah.
It's 2006. I don't know why I thought 2011.
2006, so that's what, 15 something?
Yeah.
15 plus. And then Rob Manfred's only been there.
What was he, 20?
Rob
2014,
Manfred.
something like that.
But 2015.
Silver has been in since 2014.
2015 for Manfred.
Okay.
But Selleck was in that chair for decades.
Yeah.
Before that. So it's like you don't see too many of these guys serving for that long anymore.
Right. We'll
right?
see. We'll see Adam Silver do that unless he takes a job elsewhere for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Silver is going to be around for a very long time
because he's actually growing the sport.
He's an unbelievable commissioner, and
he actually cares about topics surrounding the sport and surrounding the culture of his sport. One tape
came out about Donald Sterling.
Yes.
He banned him for life.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine Gary Bettman doing anything like that?
No.
Or Goodell?
Goodell more so than Gary, somehow.
Yes, I will give you that, but I still can't see it. Yeah.
And then I'm not even going to
like... No, man. I mean, with that whole, like, thing with Sterling, if that happened in the NFL, Goodell probably would have just suspended Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, the Deshaun thing happened.
Yeah.
And that deserved more.
Yeah.
Like, he should have done way more than he did.
And that one was, oh, God, because it's such a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Because with no actual, like, guilty verdicts.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of them were settled in through civil litigation. Like,
yeah.
Like, God, it's such a gross topic.
It's weird and gross, and
it's one of the ones that, like, I actually don't really blame Goodell in because I don't know what more he could have done.
It's weird and gross.
You can tell that he actually wanted to do more, but
and let me say, you're welcome as the Bengals fan.
Yeah.
For beating Deshaun's ass.
Go Bears. Justin Fields, whatever.
Who did, baby? I want to see those two just like gunsling.
Can we just talk about the Bears for a second? They lost to the bye week. We had the bye week this week. We headed into the bye week with a second overall pick. We didn't play a game this week. Now we have the third overall pick. We somehow lost to the bye week. Damn Broncos.
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
So, yeah, I guess Gary does deserve his kudos for his tenure being as long as it's been.
Yes. Congratulations for still having your job.
For 30 freaking years. Oh, my God.
All right, what's our last one?
The last one is kind of bittersweet.
It is, yeah. I think more sweet than bitter, to be honest with you.
Because
it's a story of perseverance.
Yes.
And
do you just want me to read the thread?
Yeah, go ahead.
How do I introduce this guy? Help me.
JB.
JB.
Love JB. One of the best people in hockey media, I think, for radio. Unbelievably smart guy.
For those of you that don't know, his name's Justin Bourne.
Yes.
And I'm
Used
sure
to
a
do
lot of you
video
guys
and
that like
analytics.
follow us heavily,
Yeah.
like a lot of the heavy fans know who Justin Bourne is.
Yeah. His father played in the National Hockey League.
He was a video coach with the Toronto Marlies for a while, and I think he played there too.
He played for the Bridgeport Sound Tigers.
He played for Bridgeport. Okay.
Because he was with the Islanders organization.
Got you. All right.
Still only 39 years old.
He's been with Sportsnet and, done a lot of stuff within the media side, more or less. So let's just read this thread. Been waiting a long time to send these tweets as I've been eager to share this loud and clear. Hi, my name is Justin Bourne, and I'm an alcoholic. I'm just going to pause right there.
Yeah.
Because just coming out blatantly like that and so blunt to admit that.
Yeah.
Takes a lot.
It does. Absolutely.
I'm in a good place now, but yeah, it's been a journey. Always believed authenticity is the best way to connect with people, and have felt for a long time that I've been hiding, both while in the worst of it and during the fight to get well. I apologize to those who found me flaky while I struggled, which I'm aware is no small group. Unfortunately, the struggle is in my family. It turns out that if your father is both an alcoholic and a Stanley Cup winner, your odds of following in his footsteps down one path are far more likely than the other. Yike. That tweet's hard to...
Yeah.
Sharing with his permission, after 3 stays in treatment, he lives 24 hours at a time like many of us. A lot of you can relate. Alcoholism has devastating effects on families, and I'm so grateful I was able to get help before I lost everything. Lord knows it was close. This is starting to get scary. This is actually the first time I've read this thread.
Yeah.
And this is getting scary. I'm so grateful for the recovery community, including hockey's subset of that, for leading me to a better place. It has made me reflective on hockey's role and where I'm at, both the good and the bad. I knew that any attempt to capture all that in a tweet thread or even an article would have been utterly futile. There's just not enough room to explore the questions my addiction wrought. So I wrote a book. It's my story. A kid in NHL rooms, playing my way up the ranks, wrestling with dad's lower points, and nearly washing my future away with the bottle. But I hope it's relatable and that it makes you want to talk with me or others about how you've been affected by alcoholism. I'll be working with my beloved, Renascent. I'm assuming that's, if I butcher that, I'm sorry. The recovery house where I spent a month on a charitable portion of sales. More on that coming. The book is out mid-February for a reason. On the 16th of that month, I will be somehow impossibly 4 years sober. Here's a sneak peek at the cover and a link to check it out if you're curious. I'm absolutely going to check this book out. And so thank you. I'm beyond grateful for my family, for the support of Sportsnet, and honestly for all of you. It feels great to get this out there and to get to be who I really am in public once again.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So just a couple of things
to unpack this.
Well, just to give people more context if they don't know who he is. So he was a columnist for USA Today at one point.
Yes.
And he wrote a piece on stopping the usage of gay slurs in sports.
Right.
And this actually encouraged Brian Burke's son, Brendan.
Yes.
To tell his story.
Yes, and I remember Brendan telling his story. Yeah.
We know Berkey and how important this is to him.
Yes.
We see him all the time at pride parades and whatnot. which is just awesome. Like,
Doesn't Brendan have a foundation too, like
he
named
does.
after him?
Yes.
Yes, because Brendan passed.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say.
He did. He passed away in 2010.
Ah,
Very, very sad story.
yes.
But an important one. That I think more people should be aware of.
And Berkey was like a huge proponent in, when Luke Prokop came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
that was a whole thing with the Prokop story. And now with Justin, I don't know if you had more context to Justin.
Yeah, so he had,
Go ahead.
He's been a part of the Score as a featured writer and stats analyst. He's been a senior hockey columnist for The Athletic and Sportsnet.
His Sportsnet stuff is awesome.
Yeah, in 2015, he left his position at the Score so he could go pursue coaching. He was the video coach for the Toronto Marlies for 2 years, so he worked directly with Sheldon Keefe for a little bit there. His father, as he mentioned, was a Stanley Cup winner. He won it 4 times, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a part of the Islanders dynasty.
Was he? Okay, wow.
I'm just finding this out for the first time. He is married to the daughter of Clark Gillies.
Justin is?
Yep.
Huh. Small world, huh?
Right. So, really great career for this guy. Only 39 years old. He's done so much. He's going to continue to do a lot, obviously. Today, he's very popular for, Kipper and Bourne.
Kipper and Bourne and his spots on Tim and Sid and Tim and Friends.
Yeah.
Because he's on with Timmy a lot.
Yes. One of the most respected people, not just with Sportsnet, but I think just in hockey. Like, people really value and respect his opinions. He's a very smart guy.
He's the perfect mix of like analytical and affable that you need.
And very, very well spoken. You rarely get any, I don't want to say like, he doesn't have any bad takes, but he's very reasonable.
Yes.
In his
level-headed
analysis of things.
Level-headed, yes.
Very level-headed. Not too polar in either direction on most topics. Very insightful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is just another incident of how insightful he is. He's giving people an opportunity to have an insight on life and what alcoholism can do to not just you, but your family and how it runs through your family. And hopefully this story will even just touch one person to step up and take control of their life and to understand that they're not alone in that battle, and that even though it takes time, it gets better.
And the first, there's steps to this, right? You need to realize, yes, this is a problem that I need to fix, and now I'm going to take small steps with help that I know I have to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you feel comfortable enough like he has now, you can finally speak and say, here's what has been going on with me.
Right.
The same thing happened with Bobby Ryan.
Yeah.
What was that? A couple? What was that? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Was that 3 years now?
Yeah.
Because he went into the players' assistance program, and we assumed it was substance abuse, and we didn't get confirmation on that until after he was done.
Might be 4 years.
Might be 4 now. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But yes, his whole situation, we speculated it was substance abuse, and then we later found out it was.
Yeah.
Once he was comfortable enough to say it.
We still haven't found out really anything on Jacob Vrana.
Nothing on Vrana. Okay.
Could be the same thing.
And then wasn't there?
It doesn't matter what the substance is. It doesn't have to just be alcohol.
No.
Whatever it is, it's a very similar process.
Cocaine?
Getting over
No,
it.
I didn't. I shouldn't be making a joke. I'm sorry.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, we talked about Cocaine Bear last episode to end the show, and I just
Yeah, it's different when it's an actual bear.
when it's a bear eating $15 million worth of coke.
Yeah,
That's still like people.
76 pounds.
People seriously go watch the clip back. I posted that on Monday
Yeah,
of this past week, and Jay's reaction when I said $15 million is the most priceless thing. Because, like, so, did you watch it back and just see
No.
the big smile on your face when you started laughing? You were just like,
I believe it.
whoa!
I believe it. Yeah.
It's wild. It's great. You should watch that clip back. Anyway, okay, Justin. Just, oh my God.
Congrats! Like, I want to say congratulations to Justin Bourne for
He deserves all the
being
kudos in the
able
world.
to go through this,
Yes.
being able to share his story,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, I'm also wishing him luck in his, continued pursuit of this.
Yes.
Because this isn't just I'm over it. I've defeated alcoholism.
No,
moved out of
because
my life. It's a day-to-day battle. This will carry through with him for the rest of his life. This is a
alcoholism and
consistent
drug
battle.
abuse is something that's like you don't just once the cutoff is there, it's done.
Mhm.
Because like a relapse can happen like that.
It's not like changing up your sleep schedule and I just changed it up, it's fine. No, I don't worry about my old sleep schedule anymore,
Right.
It stays with you. This will stay with you for the rest of your life, and it is a day-to-day battle.
Yes.
So yeah, I give him a lot of props for what he has done. I appreciate him telling his story, and I'm rooting for him as I always do.
200% with you on that.
This is a good episode.
Yeah. Next day we shoot. It's another game day.
Mm-hmm.
And oof.
Oh, so we're gonna lose this game to Florida. Then we got Tampa on the road on Thursday, and then we got Boston on the road. Oh my God! And then we have Dallas on Monday. Jesus, it doesn't end.
It's a gauntlet. Yep. It's a gauntlet. We get a bit. We get a bit of a relip. We get a bit of a respite in a week against Philly, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, Philly's never really a slouch against us.
Not with Torts at the helm.
Not with Torts and not with Carter. And not with Cam.
Yep.
Wait, it's Cam. Anyway, I don't know about his injury status.
I don't know.
Off the top of my head, but it doesn't matter. We will see y'all on Saturday. So take care, everybody. Take care. Hey,
Love.
take care of yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family.
Mm-hmm.
And the holidays are coming up quick.
Yep.
So
whether
yeah.
you're working 9 to 5 or losing 9 to 4, we love you.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Garinger, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.